or YouTube link, the Forensic Networker Nation. Wonderful.
All right. We are live on YouTube and on Zoom call. Welcome, 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 everyone. Forensic Networkers around the world. If you're on Zoom, just welcome. I know that so we got multiple countries there. Usually we get about 25, 30 countries that Zoom into this call. On if you're on YouTube, just make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button, turn that blue so I can give you notification, because what I'm going to be doing, be thinking a lot about putting up some short videos out there during the course of the week, because there's too much information that we need to get out there. So we want to be able to do it maybe more than once a week, as we do right now. So like, subscribe, make sure that you hit the bell button, put a comment on the video, as well as, at least as usual, share with one of your team members or network marketing friends or prospects. The Forensic Networker, we're adamant that we're going to have the most, if we don't have already, the most informed and successful network marketers in the world. That's what this is all about. And Forensic Networker, as you all know, 22 years ago, I wrote this book. Twice has been ranked as the top network marketing university and system in the world. Once in 2014 was number 2, and then was number 1 in 2020. So this is a very serious course. It was originally designed for people who want to make 6-figure income or 5-figure weekly income, monthly income within 12 to 18 months. That's the full system. But along the way, over the years, I've decided to, create some chapters to also for the new people. Initially, was designed for only full-time network marketers or part-time, very serious people. Basically, want to make millions. That's what it was designed to do. It's a very elaborate system called the MO box. And but now we're coming up with a lot of information for the new network marketers, because the industry is just blowing up. It's growing so fast. And they need the Forensic Networker. All right, this week, again, welcome, people from around the world. And this week, we're going to talk about something very, very, very important. They're all very important, but this one's, again, something that could really save you and networkers who come in, because vast majority don't make see any success. And the reason for that is they just don't have a good start. They really don't have a good start. Whether the person that brought them in or themselves or both, they just didn't do the right things. And in anything, I don't care if you're cooking an omelet. You don't come in with the right knowledge and attitude and do the right things, you're going to make a horrible omelet. And that's what something as simple as making an omelet. Can you imagine? We got a business model here. We have a platform where we come in with one thing in mind, which is to make a lot of money. At the very least, to be able to quit our job, right? Quit our job, maybe get wealthy. All of that expectation, yet we don't know anything about this. So tonight, I decided to go back to day one. Like, so back. This is day one. Actually, the day before you actually launch. So I want to talk about the 10 questions you must ask before you partner with an MLM company. And these are very, very, very important questions. Very, very important questions. Because when something is good, some bad people also want a part of it. So, when franchising was hot, a whole bunch of, whether weak or bad business plans came on board, right? There's tons and tons of, shenanigans that go on in the traditional business. Of course, we've all heard about all the scams on the internet, right? When something is really hot, there's a lot of smart people who use their brain the wrong way. They also want to get involved. MLM is the hottest thing on the planet since about 70 years or so, close to 80 years or so. It's the fastest growing method of distribution. So just like anything else, when you go out there and you want to invest, significantly into something, that you want, make sure you ask the right questions. I mean, if you go to a clothing store and you wanted to buy, I don't know, a fine suit, you say it's $1,000 suit, a $1,500 suit, then you'd be asking some question, is it, what brand it is, and at least why it's expensive, right? And yet in MLM, I think a lot of people, they just buy the hype, right? So they forget to ask questions. So tonight, I'm gonna save MLM a lot of that nonsense and share the 10 questions you must ask before you actually launch with any partner with any MLM company. I could have titled this differently. I could have titled this is that the 10 things you should cover with your new prospect. So in other words, the other direction. If once you're in the system, you can use these 10 questions as 10 topics to cover with your new prospect. Very, very, very important. And when you do the right things, it's not a lot of things. When you do the right things, a few right things, all of a sudden you start getting more retention, more activity, and all of a sudden everything starts to change, right? Everything starts to change. Plus, when you do the right things, most important thing is your reputation keeps building. And we are in a reputation business. Look, here's the thing I want to talk about, aside from the topic tonight. The MLM, we used to say 30 years ago, we used to say, eventually, everything's going to become MLM anyways, because people are going to go back home. And we were correct. Because MLM kept gaining momentum. And of course, the pandemic really pushed it right there, sent everybody home. And so here we are, right? Moving forward, MLM is going to be a big, significant part of any commerce that happens, whether it's e-commerce or regular commerce. So if you want to have a future in that, you better start doing things right. I've seen so many people make a lot of mistakes that kind of walk the opportunity away from them. In other words, they took the opportunity is gone. No one wants to deal with them. No one wants to buy anything from them or work with them. And it's a very, very, very expensive mistake to make. Very expensive mistake to make. Credibility is everything. And this is the future. Not only it's now, it's the future. There's nothing better or different that's going to come out. This is it, the last bastion of the free enterprise. This is where the rubber meets the road and the last chance for the average person to hit a financial home run. Now, that was always the case, except now it's only the last chance, period, because the job market just ended. The job market just ended. I'm not saying there's going to be no jobs around, but I can tell you, with what happened in 2020, the companies recognize and realize they don't need to have this big office and spaces. They could do things online, right? A lot of people lost their job. They will not get it back. And here's another thing, according to the stats, 74% of people who even have jobs, they don't want to go back to the job environment. They want to work from home. It's a long time being away a year and a half. It's a very long time. Very, very long time. And people just don't want to go back to an office or warehouse or whatever it was they were doing. Notice when the lockdown ended, notice that when you go out to restaurants and whatever you do, notice that people are not the same anymore. It's almost like they're not happy to be there. People are not as nice as pre-pandemic. Whether it's a restaurant, I don't care where else you're going. People seem to be not in a very good mood. So what does that bring us? Bring us to being at home, working from home, doing e-commerce. So that's the future. That's the future. So you're going to see this explosion of stay-at-home economy opportunities coming over the next year or two and moving forward. Explosion. Everything is going to be home-based now. Everything. If it's a traditional business, I can guarantee you, if it's sizable, they're also going to have a home-based version of that because that's just the future. So it's imperative that you maintain your credibility, because if you don't have, it's like if you buy an electronic brand and it turns out another good brand, the world finds it very quickly, and that brand will buy it. I can tell you, you're going to find that if you don't get and understand this industry, the future, however working years you've got left, you're going to find that you lose the opportunity. So it's imperative that you do the things right. Now, the good news is here in forensic networker community, the only thing we do is doing the right thing, right? Doing the right thing. So tonight we're going to talk about the 10 questions that you must ask before you partner with an MLM company. All right. So if you're new looking for an opportunity, you have to ask the 10 questions. Like I said, I could have titled it differently. I could tell differently. I could have said, the 10 things you should share with your new prospect. It's the same thing. And you should take notes, very detailed notes, and make sure you cover this. All right, let's get to it. So we're going to explain about your success really starts before you actually say yes, right? The success starts before you actually launch with a business. It's not unusual. Can you imagine you met somebody the first day and said, let's get married? Well, there's a chances are it's probably not going to last, because obviously you don't know much about them, right? First we meet someone, we date, and then, get engaged and maybe move in, and eventually marriage is the last thing, right? So I'm not saying you should take that long in the business. No, what I'm saying is you should know some basic things about the company. You should ask some basic things about the company before you partner with that company. So let's just jump in with that. So 10 questions you must ask before you partner with an MLM company. First one is, how much does it cost, right? It's important that you ask that, because, and here's why it's important. The cost is not just the startup cost, right? It's also the monthly operation cost. And it's important that you ask that question, so not good MLM companies, it's nothing special. You just buy some products and that's it, right? You get on auto ship or some type of smart buy, stuff you use at home anyways, right? But there are companies out there that are charging you fees, you get nothing for it. And that's problematic. Of course, a lot of these companies are not legit companies. So, and you have, some of them are they're massive. The fees are very, very high. And you basically, buying positions, and, so you can get up into the money aspect of it. Of course, there are legal pyramid schemes, the Ponzi schemes. But the point is, you want to find out how much it costs. Now, there has been some direct sales companies out there as well. They're legit companies, but their monthly quotas are very high. So you have to sell a lot of products, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. So you want to find out what that is too, right? Because, if you're a good retailer, great, then you can do that. But if you're not a great retailer, and then, you're going to have a problem by being able to sell $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month worth of products, right? You can't do that. So one question is, how much does it cost to start? Okay, great. And how much it costs to maintain, right? There are some companies, it's not just your personal maintenance, and because you have to have all these different legs in bonus, then all of a sudden you find yourself subsidizing some of the other legs, and now you have, very high costs. Like, I remember my first company was a breakaway company, and not only our monthly quota was $1,500 a month, that's basically the auto ship that we had to be on to get a check. But then if you didn't have certain legs in bonus, like in my case as an international marketing director, I need 12 legs in bonus. That means 12 separate legs had to have placed X amount of dollars. And before I got my bonuses, if they didn't do that, I wouldn't get my bonuses. So then, I had to put 300 here, maybe 500 there, next year, I got a $4,000 or $5,000 bill, right? So first question you ask is, how much is it to get in? Usually within a couple of grand, $2,000, $3,000. Okay. I mean, that's a very cheap way of doing business, really, because no business allows you to do that. Also, how much is the maintenance? The key part about this question as well is that, if you're teaching this part to your prospect, is that they have to understand it's a business, right? As a business, if you want to be buying wholesale and make retail profit, you have to buy constantly. No wholesaler sells it to you on a regular basis unless you're buying a lot, right? So, or on a regular basis. So they talked about what is the monthly. Because here's what I find what happens, especially with the newer markets, is that they come in, they buy the best package, which is great to do. That's the right thing to do. And then the following month, and they haven't done anything, and they'll say, "Well, do I have to maintain? Why do I have to pay a fee?" There's no fee here. Just like every other business, whether it's traditional or MLM, you have to be active, right? At the very least, you got to use the product, and then usually good MLM companies, a couple of $100, $200, $300, $400 in that area, you can just buy and sell products, and on a regular basis, you got to do that in order for you to be able to get residual income on the team. Remember one thing: when you make money, residual income, that's not your money. You did nothing for that, right? You may have brought a couple of people at some point, but it's they that brought more people, and they brought more people. Now you got this big organization, and whoever buys and sells, doesn't matter where they are, doesn't matter if you know them or not. Now you're getting paid on that. The privilege of residual income, the very least you could do, just be active, right? You buy or you sell, you gotta be active. So again, obviously that's normal. But some companies will charge a $3,000-$4,000 quota. That's okay. If you like to sell that much on a monthly and you're good at it, great. Then that's fine. There are people who do it. But I think most people come into MLM. Hey, a couple of $100, I'll use the product, whatever. I have a couple of customers, and I keep building my customers as I go. And but I don't think they're prepared to be loaded with $5,000 worth of products every month so they can sell it, right? So how much does it cost to get in, and how much does it start? Now, here's another thing too. There are some companies out there, especially in Asia, where just to get in, they promote spending $5,000 to get in, buy extra units, or 10,000 or 20. I've seen 25,000. Some of these companies, are getting in is 25,000. And they want you to buy all these whatever it is they're selling, and they want you to go sell it. Well, again, maybe some people can do that, but I think most people who get into MLM, they're not really that experienced in sales or in industry, so they want to kind of start nicely with something that's manageable. It's not going to kill their bank account, and a couple $100 a month or $300 a month, but that's something that you need anyways. You need some samples and so forth. Question one: how much does it cost? Not just startup, and how much is the monthly? Question number two: how many hours? How many hours do I need to invest? Basically, right? It's important again that they ask that question, and because a lot of people are under the impression that they don't have to do anything. Like they feel like, oh, hey, I bought a package, so I guess I put in money, I get money. And that just doesn't happen that way. And honestly, I blame us as networkers that happens, because we bring them in, right? We bring them in, and we just bring them in the wrong way, right? So how do you expect in anything that's in business, right? How do you expect any business, you buy any business and don't do anything and make money? I mean, if you're an investor and someone else is doing the work, fine. But that's not what this is. If you want to buy a McDonald's franchise, right, $2 million, any traditional business, you spend a ton of money up front, then you go to work the next day. It's just that simple. And yet people come in this business and they think, well, I put in the money, I got my $1,500 package, so I don't want to do anything, and I don't want to buy anything, and I don't want to use anything, and I don't want to sell anything. I don't know what business works that way. I don't know a business that works that way. So if you guys know a business that works that way, just put in the chat, blow up the chat, keep it going. So we got YouTube, and get some algorithm going there. And anyways, so so if you're teaching this concept, it'll be the same thing. If I bring somebody in and say, look, let me tell you how many hours you need to invest weekly, right? We talk weekly because you want to be consistent. You don't say monthly, and somebody says, well, I got
Yeah, I haven't done nothing for 3 weeks, but I'll push it all last week. No, that doesn't work, right? You want to talk, you want to be very consistent. So here on a weekly basis, 12, 14 hours a week, that's basically on an average what you need, 12, 14, 15 hours, that's what you need, right? So you want to tell them that's what they need. They need to know up front, and when they come in with the proper idea, by the way, most people at that moment don't care about this stuff, right? They're so excited about the opportunity, they don't even care what you tell them. So don't think that by telling them the stuff that they're gonna get disheartened. They don't. They don't. They just can't wait to get started, and they're not listening anyways. This is just what prospects are. You tell them the truth, they're not even listening. Later on says, oh, I didn't, I wasn't paying attention, or I thought I could do this and that. So, but it's our job to make sure that we protect the industry, protect the company, protect your reputation, right? It's our job to make sure that we tell the truth. So how many hours do I need to invest? If you're part-time, 12, 14, 15 hours a week, if you want to have a very good run at this, right? If you want to do less, okay, I expect less as in return. If you want to do more, great. You get to your targets faster, right? We want to talk. So question one, how much it costs? Question two, how many hours do I need to invest? Question number three, how long does it take to reach my financial goals, right? That's a really good question. That's a really good question that if you're going to join an MLM business, you want to ask this question from whoever that's in your upline or your sponsor. How long does it take to reach my financial goals, right? And this brings us to a very important area. Well, what is your financial goals, right? What's your financial targets? And once I know what that is, then how we determine how long it takes is simple. We attach it to the compensation plan. So if somebody wants to make $1,000 a month, I said, look, you know what? In our experience, we've seen people who make that at even LA level. They make that at the LD1 level. It's not a lot of money. Somebody make $10,000 a month. Well, in our experience, we have people who've been LD2s who got to that level, but most likely in the LD3 level, definitely. Okay, then how do I get to LD3? Great, let's go to the comp plan. So you attach whatever their financial goals are to the comp plan ranking system. It's a great conversation, isn't it? It's a great conversation to have. So the third question is, well, okay, if I put in my 12, 14 hours a week, part-time, how long does it take to get my financial targets? Well, what's your financial targets? X amount. Great. Let's attach that to the comp plan. If you're new, you don't know what that is, you get upstairs to your My5, and there's somebody there who can help you with that. Question 4, who can help me? What a great question. Nobody asked that question. If I went into a business, first question, who's going to help me, right? You got to ask that question. Who's going to help me, right? Who's going to help me, right? And of course, in our company, we call that My5, right? My5, right? Plus the company support systems, like what you're doing right now, the company support systems. We got lots of tools in the back office. Every company does that, right? Has that. So those are the questions to ask. Because generally, people treat a business like a purchase. It's not. It's not. I think MLM businesses are very safe. This is why people do that, because they figure, okay, if I don't do anything, I got a bunch of great stuff I'll use, or I'll sell it to somebody. But you really need to start thinking bigger than that. Bigger than that. You got to start thinking bigger than that, right? And for you to get to the top of that tree or the comp plan, and by the way, the comp plan needs to be your roadmap, right? In our business, we have that Opulence Highway. That thing should be on the front of your tongue, talking to everybody about this, right? So we're going to help you get to MGRS qualification. We're going to help you get to the LD1, help you get the LD2, whatever your comp plan is. But the question has to be, who's going to help me? In other words, who are my partners? My5, people above, uplines, right? And what are the tools available that I can get help? How about the manual, company manual, prosperity book? Is there any videos and links, right? We call that links and prints. Who's going to help me? So from the other end, if you bring somebody, let me tell you who's going to help you get your financial targets, right? Now you just turn it around the other direction. Let me tell you who's going to help you. Didn't even ask that question, but you give it to them. You give it to them. You put them in the right mode. Question 5. What's the system? Right? You got to ask that question, what's the system? Because again, here's a business that we expected to be able to help us quit our job. Your job has a system, yet you don't expect this to be a system here to do that. Obviously, for you to accomplish anything, you got to climb the tree, right? The comp plan tree. So if you're going to rank up, then you need to know the system to rank up. When you say, what's my financial targets? Well, here's my financial targets. I got to get to the LD3. Okay, I get to, what's the system to get to the LD3? Right? You get an LA, get 2, you get a laser, each get 2, right? Remember that? That's the system. That's the comp plan. Draw it. I know some of you guys do that very, very well. I know Philippines, for example, they do this really, really well. They just work off the charts. It's awesome. But you got to give them the path. If you don't give them the path, they're going blindly. You launch somebody, they don't ask this question, these questions don't come up, they're going blindly. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea where they're going. There's nothing to shoot for. They bought a package, they leave, they get their stuff, okay, they start using this stuff, but then the next day they don't know what to do. They have nothing to shoot for. You didn't tell them what to do. If they're in LA, what's the next thing, right? The next thing is an LD1 or MGRS, here's the number of ways of doing that. Okay, now they know the path, right? To earn more money. If you want to get rank up, okay, go to LD1, here's the path. You've got to give them that system. So if they don't ask that question, and 9 out of 10 times they won't, unless they're, already in MLM and they understand MLM, they don't. But that's your job. It's your job as an upline to give them those thoughts and put them in the right track. Remember, 9 out of 10 that come in, they think put in money and get money. I don't know where they get this idea from, right? They would not think that in any other business. If someone else came to these people and say, let's start a business together, and if they agree to do it, it's okay, here's the money, we go to work, right? Salon, whatever it is. But the same person, the same day, joins his friend in an MLM opportunity, and he doesn't attach the same logic. And I don't understand how that works. If you guys know how that works, then put it in the chat group. Anyways, give me your thoughts of the stuff that you're hearing, and put it in the chat group so I know you guys are awake and alive. And because I really need to make sure you guys are paying attention to this stuff. I've been building this business for a long time, and I find the same things that happened 32 years ago. It's happened 10 years ago. It's happening 5 years ago. It's happening today. So I always scale back and look at the industry from far. The MLM industry is okay. If I got in today, knowing what I know, if I want to get into an MLM, what type of questions would I ask? What type of questions would I ask? Okay? So you cannot assume that a new prospect knows what they're doing. You'd be wrong. You would be wrong. Despite what they're saying to you, they don't know what they're doing. Sometimes they come really cocky and they think they know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Sometimes you get a salesman that comes in because he's had some success in sales, comes in a three-piece suit. He thinks this is easy. He doesn't know what he's doing. Sometimes they come from other MLM companies. And they think, oh, I know how to do this. Maybe they know some things, but we don't even know if they were doing it right before. We don't know. We can assume what they were doing right before. And if anything, you should assume they were not doing it right before because they're here now. You cannot make that assumption. So you have to assume that they're not doing it right. They're not doing it right. Here's another thing I would say. Let's assume they were even good at MLM. Rare, but they're there. Rare, but they're there. I always say if you're a good eye doctor, it doesn't make you a good foot doctor. You're a doctor, but you're not specialized in this. If you're somewhere else, you have some attributes, but you got to come here, you got to learn this. You got to find our system, find our training culture, right? So Don't assume they know what they're doing. Even if they're more experienced than you, that's okay. You're the coach here. You're the upline. You can still learn from them, but it doesn't mean you take a back seat, especially if you've been here long enough. If you've been here long enough, then you know more than they do. So you have to, Now we do have these 12 commandments in our company. That should be your map right there, to make sure that they understand completely. The 12 commandments, by the way, is your best troubleshooter. It's your best troubleshoot. If somebody says I'm not doing well, okay, let's go to 12 commandments. Let's see which one you're faltering. Oh, there you go. There's your answer. That's where I quit the stuff. I've done this 32 times. For 32 years, I mean. Directly, indirectly worked with 1 million people. You can imagine what I've built, team over 100,000 people, right? You can imagine what I've seen. I've seen them all. So I quit the stuff. The 12th commandment, right? If you're not part of this company, I know some people are, come on, try to keep this generic, but I got to deal with my people. So the 12th commandment is like a troubleshoot your business. Let's take a look and see. Have you done them all? You'll be shocked how many of the steps people have missed. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. 12 commandments. It's 12 steps. People come in, they want to change their life. They don't take the first 12 steps. It's craziness. Go back to your back office, look for 12 commandments, take it and study it. That should be your roadmap to everybody. That's how you start everybody, right? Everybody. All right, so number 5 was, what's the system? Number 6, when and who provides training? So training is the on and off switch for your business. It's that simple. You're not getting training, your switch is off. It's that simple. Because you don't know. You're not informed, you're not updated. You don't know, you're not informed, and you're not updated with all the new stuff that happens in the company. So if you're not coming to trainings and you're not, picking the brains of the uplines and you're constantly involved, your switch is off. That's it. Just put in the chat, switch is off. Or put my switch is on. If you guys are on this, the switch is on. Right? What do you mean? So first, again, if I'm launching in a new company, I'm asking that question. When are the trainings? Who's doing them? Right? By the way, a lot of people, companies, they charge for the training. Because what they do is allow the distributors to sell training. See, we don't do that here, right? I know in bigger companies, even Amway, for example, right? Everything's for sale. Everything's for sale. They'll sell you tapes, books, systems. Here, I do all that, you get the forensic MO box, and then the rest of it's for free. Everything's for free. I don't think you should charge for information. But that's just me. Obviously, I'm wrong because information age is big and everyone's charging for information. That's just me. Because because my money doesn't come from selling information. Right? But if you join a business, it's a new business to you. You can't be arrogant and say, oh, I'm good at this stuff. No, okay, maybe, but it's a new thing. It's a new thing. So when is the training and who's doing it? Get to know the trainers. If you're not doing that, your switch is off. It's that simple. Number 7, when are you available for support? Now you're talking to a sponsor. Hey, listen, I'm in, but when are you working? What's your schedule like? Because amazing, so sometimes uplines, they feel like once the person they say all the right things at the presentation night. They say all the right things at the presentation night. And next thing you know, they get picky on when they can work, when it's family time, when it's vacation time, when you can call, we can't call TV time, go to sleep early. But come on. If you're going to be like that, I need to know, right? I need to know. If you're not going to, just tell me, managing expectation, right? I'll find someone else to mentor me. But see, the uplines don't tell you that, though. So if you're looking for a new business, then you should be asking that question. Because support is just imperative. You're gonna have your down times. You're gonna have your, the emotional roller coaster, right? There are times you're going to be just distracted. There's someone you need to shake you up. Reset, refresh, right? Let's go. You need that. And the person you're usually most closest with is the person who brought you in the wild because you joined them, right? Obviously they know you, they got some bond with you. But you want to know, right? You want to know if they say, look, you know what? I'm not going to be around at all. I don't know. It's just one of those things that maybe just, if somebody's going to do that, I'd rather if you just don't join with that person at all. Because this idea, this is a business of I'm going to help you make money. And when you do, I'm going to make money and we both win. That's what MLM is about. This is not an idea that I'm going to bring you to make me rich. That's not what it's supposed to be. And that's not what it is. Somebody said to me, what is MLM, right? Here's the best definition of MLM. I heard Larry Thompson say this years ago. I never forgot about that. 30 years ago. Here's the best definition of MLM I've ever heard. If I help you make $5 that you wouldn't have made without me, that means I was the reason why you made the $5. Is it okay if I make $1 because I helped you make $5? Of course it's okay, right? See, that's the definition of an MLM. I'm going to help you make money, and because I've helped you make money, then I'm going to make some money. Is that okay? Of course it's okay. It's the most noble thing in the world. That's the concept. So this idea that I'm going to bring you and I'm going to take off and hopefully you're going to make me money like a spaghetti on the wall, right? That's what ruins MLM. This is why forensic, we are so serious about this stuff. We're so serious about this stuff in forensic because there's no way that you're going to make it and you're going to ruin the industry. So I put this stuff out there. So, question 7, when are you available to support me? Now, by the way, support doesn't mean you don't have to be an expert or guru to do it. Support means you're there when they need you. And if you don't know the answer, you find the answer. If they need you to do a presentation, you do it. If you can't do it, find someone to do it. You get paid on this on that, you gotta support it. It's that simple. It's not that complicated. Question 8, where can I build territory, right? Different cities, different countries, where can I build? It's important because a lot of people, for some reason, they don't talk to friends and family and all that, right? But then they know people elsewhere, and we want to expand the mindset. I like working local, but then you got to be thinking global, right? You got to be thinking global. And some people say, look, I'm new here, or I know the right people here and there. Great. Ask the question, because generally, even people who get involved and they're trying to be locally, which is great, but they're not thinking, look, I got some really good people, in Philippines or in Kenya or in St. Lucia or Dominica or whatever. So you got to be thinking, I want to build, I want to expand my territory. How's that? I want to expand my territory. So the question is, where can I build? Oh, you can build in Sweden. Great. I have an uncle there. Rene recently, he has some family in Malaysia. Great. He's building Malaysia. Right. So, Abhijit, I think she knows people everywhere. She's building everywhere, which is great. Especially with a company like ours, we got this international reach, right? You want to expand people's mind about don't just think local. You start local, but you should be thinking global. Now, some people may say, well, I don't know anybody locally, but I know a lot of people. We all know people. We all got family and friends somewhere, right? So we want to ask that question and expand their market. So question 8, where can I build? What's the territory? What territory I can build? Question 9, what's the best package? Right? It's a very, very important question to ask. What's the best package? Right? The problem with prospects is that they like to buy the package that they are comfortable with, right? But most of the time that's not the right package. So I always said over the years that don't buy the package you're comfortable with, because if it's too comfortable, you're not doing anything, right? There's no rush for you to get to work. You're comfortable with that. I'll get to it whenever I get to it. No, if this is comfortable level, go to here. Go to one level above comfort. Why? Because now you're uncomfortable. Then you got to get up from your chair and do something, because your credit card bill is coming in 6 weeks. So ask the question, right? What's the best package? Now, sometimes the best package may be a promotion. Most of the time, best package costs more because it has more products, right? But it's a quicker path to where you want to go. Now, don't get this wrong. There is a limitation to stuff like this. 2, 3 grand, whatever, it's normal. But our company is charging 10, 15,000, 20,000. The biggest package, get all these machines. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay. They're not even MLM generally. They're just usually, they call themselves MLM. They usually like direct sales. They don't know, low job and stuff. No. A couple of grand is basic what you need, some samples, right? Start your customer base. And it's good to start at that level. Usually, good companies, the top package is not more than a couple of grand anyway. $2,500, $3 grand, whatever, in that area, right? So, what's the best package is a very good question. Because if you decide to do something, let's say, on a comfortable level, so I'm not going to take the best package, I'll go to one below that. Well, you can do that, and you should do that only if you can't come up with the money. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense, because you're going to work twice as hard to make the same money. Well, I know I'd rather work twice as hard, make double the money. So if you can come up with the best package, providing it's legit, I mean, it has to be legit, right? Not ridiculous stuff. Then you should go for the best package. It's a very good question. If I join an MLM business, the first thing I'm thinking about is the comp plan, right? The comp plan. I'm thinking about the comp plan. Because I have targets. I got a promise list. And I want to get to that target. What's the fastest path to get to a target? If you're driving, you put it on GPS, this is the fastest path, right? If you're going somewhere, you won't get the fastest you can. It's no different here. It's no different here. If there's a faster to do anything, we would do it. And the business, same thing. The fastest path to get to my financial targets, if you attach that to a comp line, if that's X level. Starship Commander or Chocolate Commander, Supreme NATO Commander, whatever your comp plan says, right? Then, okay, what's the fastest path to get there? Then you want to start with the best package. Here's another thing as well. It's not just about you. MLM is about the duplication business. Duplication business. So whatever you start, your people will also start the same way. Because generally what happens when you show the business to someone, and once they're excited, they're looking at you, so how'd you start? Well, I took this package. Okay, well, most people, they also really sharp, but most people don't take a bigger risk than you did. Most people don't do that. Most people stop where you stop, right? So take the best package so you can start a proper duplication. And here's another thing too. A lot of people are afraid to ask for the sale, right? They do the presentation, all that. They're afraid to ask for the sale. The sale part, all the sale part is make a recommendation that you believe in, right? It's easy to recommend the best package if you've done it. It's that simple. It's easy to recommend the best package if you've done it, right? If you've not done it, then, you'll be a little shy to say, well, I didn't do it, but you should, right? It just doesn't have the same. You have difficult time doing it. And the last question, well, we did the 10, right? First was, how much does it cost? Not just the startup, but also the monthly to maintenance, right? The operation cost. How many hours do I need to invest weekly? Not monthly, weekly, because they want to be consistent. How long does it take to reach my financial targets? Okay, well, I don't know. What's your target? X amount. Okay, let's attach to the comp plan. You need to become this level to get that money, right? So in our business, is that I want to get, I don't know, $5,000 a month. Great. I mean, we have LD2s that are doing that. We got LD2s who are more than that. right? We may have had some LD ones dip into that category. Okay, now they have a path. How long does it take? Well, depends on which financial goals, and let's attach it to a comp plan. Who's going to help me, right? Who's going to help me? Your My Five, here are all the people you're going to have to meet, right? Your other company support systems available to you. What's the system? Because the system is your path, is your blueprint to, to the comp plan, right? It's like if you need to know, say for your financial targets, okay, you say 10,000 a month, I need to be an LD3, right? Now you need to go to LD3. So then that the system becomes how to get there. How to get there. That's the comp plan, right? How to get there. We need the system. In absence of a system, if somebody doesn't know this stuff, they say, well, I'll just go out and sell some products and recruit people, big 2 people on Wednesday. But that's not a system, right? That's what, okay, you do, but that's not a system. That's going blindly. It's like say someone, how do I get to this address? Just get in the car and drive. Well, you're driving, but it's not necessarily going to take. Eventually, you might get to where you want to go. But if you have a GPS, you know exactly where to turn, then you get there much, much faster. Number 6, when and who provides training? I told you, no training, your business is off. It's off. It's a switch, on and off switch for your business. It's off. When are you available for support? Yeah, your sponsor. They need to earn their CV, right? They got to earn their CV. You don't ask that question up front. Later on, you're going to have a problem with them because then you're going to say, he's not doing anything or she's not doing anything. You want to put this, it's a business transaction. You wouldn't engage with someone in business in any other business unless you understood each other, right? I mean, that wouldn't work in any other business. So you got to ask those questions. A lot of people are entering our industry and they don't know the most basic things. And even if they know it from other industries, somehow they don't bridge it to our industry. I'm not sure why. Would you get into a business with someone else in another industry and don't ask these questions? If I'm partnering up with you in a I don't know, hair salon, and we're supposed to work it together, right? You expect me to show up to work, right? You'll ask me, what's your hours? What's your hours? We determine these things. Now, in MLM, we're independent. We don't need to go that depth. But at least if someone's getting paid on my effort, I need to know, if I'm busy and they need to make a call for me. My people need to be able to contact the upline and get some proper answers round another round, right? Have that conversation. When are you available for support? Number 8, where can I build? What's the territories like I can go into? We're such a global business, right? Like people know people everywhere, right? It's incredible how the world is connected. This is a very, very, very important question. Very important. Because here's the thing. You're going to run to people who are from all kinds of cultures. It's not about you knowing people in those countries. It's not who you know, it's who they know. It's who they know. The people who are your business, your customers, and your referrals. Somebody can say no to your business and say, hey, look, I appreciate that. Where are you from? I don't know, I'm from Thailand. Great. Listen, you have any family in Thailand? Do anyone in Thailand? Why? Because I want to expand over there and I'm going to give you a commission. I'm going to give you a cut. Doesn't have to be through the comp plan. Go buy your leads. People buy leads online. Go buy your leads. Tell people who are not even in your business, hey, listen, give me some referral in your culture, in your community. I'll get you a cut. You guys got a 43% profit? Give them a cut. All right? And you know people from all over the world. And they know people all over the world. So where can you build? What's the best package? Hopefully, it's a top package that doesn't cost $5,000 or $10,000. I should say 5. Our packages cost $5,000 when we first got started. But for that time though, it was actually appropriate. That's why it was $5,000. But it's not appropriate now, so it's not $5,000. But at that time, some of you guys, if you paid $5,000 for an LA package, just blow it up in the chat groups, and both in Zoom and on YouTube. Who paid $5,000? It was $36.99 or $35.99 US, which is about 5,000 Canadian dollars, depending on the exchange. It hovered between 4,700 to 5,300 Canadian for an LA package. Renee says 9,000. Oh no, Renee, that's rupees probably. You don't pay 9,000. We never had a 9,000 package. All right. So number 9, what is the best package? Well, you want to start with that proper duplication. Number 10, who and where the owners and management and the head office of the company is. It's incredible. It's incredible that all these companies are launching. Most of them are digital companies. People are going online, some website, dumping their credit card, and spending $5,000, $10,000. They don't even know who the owner is, where the address is, if there is a head office, what's the head office, if there is even an office. How is that even possible? It's incredible that a lot of these companies are launching these days. The digital companies is somebody with an iMac in the bedroom. I don't know about you. If I'm going to partner with a company, it's not even about the money. Money is important. I wouldn't blow my money. But most important is my time, my credibility. I'm going to jump on some app, get in. I don't know who the owner is. I don't know where the office is. I don't even know if they have an office. I'm dealing with some people and some upline, and all over the world, and nobody knows anything. I can't get on internet and Google them up, or I can go into check. There's no website with an office picture, an executive team. The people who are joining these companies, I don't understand that, and there's a lot of them, by the way. There's a lot of them. The people who join these companies, they would never blow their money in any other type of business that way. Yet they come into this internet schemes and they get in the name of MLM. So as basic as number 10 is, believe it or not, it's such a rarity now. You have no idea how many companies are launching and people are joining them. And those companies, they don't have CEOs or owners or head office. They have no addresses. It's an app, and they're doing some sort of digital thing, and of course, within a few months, they disappear. And it's just mind-boggling to me that should even be on the list. But that's where we're at. All right, team. I think we're 52 minutes mark. We're good to go here. All right, have any questions on YouTube or on Zoom? Let's take a look at that. I think Drusilla, if you has any questions, maybe you can share that. If you guys are on YouTube, you will have any questions, have any comments about that. I see on YouTube, all you guys who paid 3,600 US, which is about 5,000 Canadian. So all you new people who paid what, 1,800 Canadian, take a look at the chat. Rebecca, $35.99 US. Ronan, $3,500 US. So it was $35.99 as well. So I don't know what company Renee joined for 9,000. So, anyways, Maria Baptiste, 4,000 she paid. Wow, this is how awesome. This is how awesome it is today. Oh, it is today. All right. So what do we got here? Leah says, "I would never join a company if I don't know the office." Of course not. But you know what? Vast majority of these digital companies, they're like that. And they're growing. It's incredible. There was a meeting done in an island, Trinidad. 1,500 people show up. It was a Forex company with no head office. I cannot imagine that. It's funny, but it makes you angry. But it makes you angry because why would you join something like that? All right, Timothy says, what's the meaning of forensic in this program? Oh, good question. Well, forensic networker, we have to go back about 22 years ago. I had two manuals I'd written. One of them was the Independent Home Business Manual. So that was one. And then I had another manual written was Psychology of Sales. So I had two manuals. So I was doing those days I used to do a forensic seminar only for the top echelon people. Had to be high-ranking people because I believed that it was too advanced for their new people. So, and then I was in Detroit. I was doing like 7-day seminars, sometimes 5 days, 7-day seminars. The basic one was 3 days. It was a lot to talk about. So there was a young lady in Detroit sitting in the front, taking notes for 3 days. Or was it 5 days? I don't know. It was a long day. So the last day, she says, "Can I take you? Can I have a coffee with you?" I said, "Sure." So we went out having coffee, and she was telling me, she says, "I really enjoyed your training. It was so intense. I've been to MLM." She was with a company called Malaluka at the time. She said, "I've been to many trainings with big income earners. I've never seen something so in depth, and it's so detailed, and it's almost like you're a forensic salesman." So I said, "Well, that's interesting. But when we're not in sales, what do you do?" Guess what she did for a living? She says, "I'm a forensic accountant." I didn't know what that meant at the time. I said, "What's that mean?" He says, "Basically, I'm the nightmare for big corporations like Google and Apple and Yahoo. We're forensic accountants. They send us in to find the truth. And when I look at your training in the last 4 or 5 days, it's almost like you're forensic. You're doing this in a forensic way." I said, that's kind of interesting. So I took the 2 manuals, the Psychology of Sales and Independent Home Business Owner manual, and I put them into one. I called it the Forensic Network. So now you know where it came from. All right, Giusello, do we have anything going on Zoom there? There's a lot of people there.
Yes, a lot of people here just thanking you for the amazing training. Tammy said she'd be $5,385 2015.
She knows it right to the penny. 5,300. That is awesome. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's just all the comments that you're getting, Mr. Ramin, from both ends of YouTube and also on Zoom. And if anyone have any questions you would like to ask quickly, we still have 3 more minutes until the hour to go. And you can also put up your hands and ask that question, or you can type it in the chat. I just want to show in the meantime that if you're wondering where you can get the 12 commandments, you can get it in your back office. Sorry, there we go. You can get it in the back office. So make sure to go get it in your back office. It's a package of probably, I think it's 20 that you can get it. You can also share it with your team or anyone that you're meeting to promote your business. So make sure to go and grab that. And also just wanted to remind you that live tours are back on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's registration time. It does start at 7 p.m., but we advise you to get there early. And make sure you have so many teams, so many people in Toronto. Make sure to invite them, come down and, experience head office. It's absolutely amazing. I know I go there every week. I get to take guests there every week. So I'm repeating, live tours are back. Don't be afraid. Make sure to come out and also support and build your business belly to belly again. Don't forget the free flawless promotion that is going on right now. Take advantage of that. I know I certainly have been taking advantage of it. And we have the Asia Boot Camp happening on Saturday, 28th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is in Asia time. So please check your time zone and you can attend that. With that said, Mr. Ramin, that is the announcements for tonight. Thank you so much for sharing with us the 10 questions that you must ask when joining an MLM company. It was absolutely wonderful and very informative. And that is what everyone is saying on the call right now, how informative it is. That is the simple questions that you ask that helps you to join a business, understanding it before you carry along.
It sets the culture, right? It sets the culture because you're giving them questions they weren't even thinking about. They should have been, but they weren't thinking about that because the previous companies, they never asked those questions. The previous companies. So we have to get these questions. All right, guys, before you go on YouTube, make sure you scroll down, smash that like button, hit the bell button as well. Make sure to turn it blue and share it with one team member or networker or distributor. Share it. It's going to be on tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe here. Make a comment. Make sure that the next day, a good practice is the next day that you take last week's topic and share it in your own chat groups.
because make sure that people can get on if the time zone doesn't work and so forth. With that, stay forensic.
Take care, everyone. Have a forensic night. One team, one dream to the billions, everyone. Take care. See you on the next call next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to log that in your calendar. We'll see you there again. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Ramin. Have a good night. Bye, everyone.